What I want to do is introduce you real quick to a new site called the Membership Huddle. And if you take a look at it as I scroll down, you'll see that it is a membership-oriented courseware site, meaning I'm teaching you about membership sites, but I'm using an online course to do it. And this site is built on the new Rainmaker. Now, if you take a look at it, this is one of the standard themes that comes with Rainmaker. It looks really great. All I had to do was change the copy and change the background images to fit. You'll see that I have multiple price points, and the curriculum is articulated here. And then I have even a sneak peek sample video, just a 37-second clip with a final call to action that takes you back to making a decision. So this is the website. Now, the website as a whole, right, when you're talking about having a nice layout, good images, good copy, and all that stuff, well, Rainmaker can do that all day long. We've seen that over and over. We've talked about how it's a great platform for people who just want to be about focusing on their site and not be focused on having to write a lot of code. The features, everything, the theme, the look, everything is done for you with Rainmaker. But recently, they rolled out a Pro version, and that Pro version supports something called an LMS, or Learning Management System. It's for online courses. And so I decided, let's build an online course. So if I come over here and I go to log in, what you're going to see is the admin side, or the back end of the system. And when we go into the system here, what I want to take you to right away is the content section. And in the context section, you're going to see a new, now this is if you have Pro, right? So if you've done the one-time upgrade, then you're going to see this category here called LMS. And when you view all, what you're going to see is the ability to add a course, and of course you can have multiple courses, add a new module, or add a lesson. The way to think about it is a course is the full container, the module is the organizing group, and the new lesson is the actual content. And if you take a look at it, you'll see here, the intro is a container, and I have 2 lessons, and then the core of the material, and I have another 5 lessons, and then the final steps and 3 lessons, right? So that's a total of 10 videos that I have recorded. Right, now, let's talk about videos, right? I use Vimeo, and actually Vimeo Pro specifically. And so what I did last week was I went into the studio, and what you can see here, right, is I started recording videos, right? So 6 days ago, I uploaded this. So a little over a week, I headed into a studio, right? They set up the lighting and everything else. I sat down and I recorded all these different videos. I uploaded it to Vimeo Pro. And when you go to Vimeo Pro, when you take in Vimeo and you go to the settings, one of your options is privacy. And in privacy, you can say hide this video from Vimeo.com. And you can say that it can only be embedded on the sites you choose. And here's a handful of my sites. And so Membership Huddle is now here. And then when I go to the embed, I can control the embed to say, take away the that little portrait and the title and the byline, take away all that stuff, get rid of all these other little buttons, and just give me the play bar with the volume control and all that. And when you're done, show nothing else. I don't want to see any other videos, just this video. Default it to HD, and it'll give me my embed code, right? Which is really great. So what happens is when you come to take a look at this content, if I go into creating this is a lesson, and I go into creating the lesson, what you'll see is the lesson is a video, right? That embed code that I was just telling you about, you drop in the video. Now you can mark it as a lesson, and you can put its parent, which is the module, the intro. And then I did a couple other things. I used a service, which I highly recommend, called Rev, right, at rev.com. Rev.com lets me upload my video to them, and then they send me back a transcription, right? Now, I still have to go through it and clean it up a little, but they transcribe it all for $1 a minute, which is fantastic, because then I can put a link to that PDF download right here. Now, we'll talk about that PDF transcript in just a second. Then I also put the short code, which they give us, which is the LMS Complete. Now, the LMS Complete is a button that will allow you, when you take a look at this page, it will let you say, I have finished this material, right? And that will put a nice little check mark right next to this course. That way you can manage every single person who logs in can see exactly where they are in the process. So you'll see the download link is right over here, and you'll see the mark is complete. Now when I roll over the download link, it may be impossible for you to see, but at the very bottom of this browser, it gives me a download ID with a lot of gobbledygook at the end. Notice that I don't have a link like the normal URL you'd imagine, which is the this folder and this folder and this .pdf, right? Some file. Instead, I have this download number. That's because of a feature that, has been here already before, right? We come in and take a look. Let's get back over to our dashboard. We come in and take a look, and what you're going to discover is, when it comes to creating content, some of the content we create isn't these LMS lessons, but sometimes it is. Where do we have it in here? We have downloadable files. I may be in the wrong section. Let's go look for it. We'll find it here. Download manager. Here we are. Sorry, it's in conversion. So in the download manager, what you're going to see is that I have created all of these transcripts. I have uploaded each one here. But when I upload it, look at what it gives me. It gives me that really long gobbledygook of a URL. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I create a new download, it can track that download. It can track how many times people are downloading this, which is really, really awesome because you want to know, are people using this as a regular way of learning or are they not? Now, you can also do things like make it publicly accessible, or they have to be able to log in to see it, and that gives you that whole section over here, which is the which groups does a person have to be in to be able to see this content, or to download, in this case, download this content. Now, talking about groups and talking about members, right? One of the things that's really interesting, and it's the way I recommend doing it, it's the way I've seen, I've created other videos, and I've seen some great folks do it this way, is you want to do two things. Create the actual LMS, and then create the membership separately, right? And so if they come together, that's fantastic. That's the best of all worlds, right? I think I wrote an article about how to use Paid Memberships Pro, which is a membership plugin, and WP Courseware, which is a LMS plugin, how to use them together. Now, some LMS players try and do all of it in one. And of course, the challenge with that is you start getting into some complexity where you want to potentially add other possible features, which I'll show you in just a second. So here we create these groups, right? The course members, the huddle members, and the mastermind members, and you can create these accounts and you can use this. In fact, I recommend that you create these membership groups before you start creating that LMS content, because when you create a lesson, right, which we were looking at over here, when you create a lesson, what you're going to discover is that beyond saying that it's a type lesson and that it's a parent, you're going to get to mark that this has membership group requirements and which groups get to see this content, right? So you definitely want to do that. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to want to create a new sidebar, a completely different sidebar than the rest of the sidebars, which you can do if you head over into the design section. You'll get to create dynamic sidebars right over here. And when you do that, you can create a new one, right? In this case, I created course sidebar. And the reason that's important is because when I'm only in the course section, only when I'm looking at a lesson, I want to be able to say, hey, in that situation, right, which is course sidebar, I want to put the LMS list show completed true, right? So this is the LMS list, which is a list of all the curriculum or the courses and all the lessons, and then show completed equals true says show those little check boxes. I want that progress bar, but I don't want that progress bar across the website. I only want it just when you're in lessons. Now, I told you about wanting to be able to use membership because membership lets you do more than just if all they were doing was saying you could purchase a product, which by the way, I don't think I've shown you the purchase product, but creating a product is like normal. When you come to view the product here, you're creating the 3 products that we care about. You're putting a price tag, you're assigning them to particular member groups. All of that is normal. And then you're associating that member group with your content protection, right? In this case, the lessons. But why I like this split between payment, procurement, all that process of purchasing as it relates to a membership, and then separately an LMS or the courses, is because then you get to do other things. You're going, okay, Chris, what are you talking about? What other things? Well, what if you want to have more or offer more than just an LMS or just protected content, right? These are pages, and these pages have, content on there. What if you want more, right? Well, somewhere over here, we're going to find I have an ability to create a form, and it may be over here in conversion. No, we'll find it in just a second. Is it in design? Oh, I know it's somewhere here. So anyway, I'll just come up to here and take a look. Over here, I can manage forum topics and forum replies, right? Now, why is a forum so important? Well, fundamentally, right, forums are the place where people connect with each other. Forums are the place where people learn. And what's really awesome is the ability to tell people, if they have the rights, right, to say, hey, go to the forum, right? And so what I was able to do was use that same dynamic of saying I'm creating a bit of content, right? And then I can use, let's see, somewhere over here in one of these forums, right? I can say that in order to look at this forum content, right, you have to be logged into a certain level of membership, right? So basically, when you're buying the Huddle program, right, for an extra $50, you get access to the online forums. And there's a forum for each lesson. So what happens is people, as they are in the lesson, can go jump into the forum and start talking about that lesson and start working together, right? And that's because you can create a forum and you can create it without having to worry that, everyone's going to get it. Nope. In this case, it's only people who paid for it, right? So it's a certain membership level. So that's the real power. So let's go back over. We were talking about the LMS. We're talking about showing you those lessons and in that structure and order, right? So what happens is, as we progress through these, right, you can actually put in the video content that's protected. It won't show up on any other site because we're using Vimeo Pro and the way we're doing that, and privacy settings. We can have download links. We can even monitor and manage that, right? We can have the lesson complete. And if I come back over here, sorry, I clicked on the wrong lesson. When I look at lesson number 6, right, you're going to see I can also do more than that. I can add additional bonus material, right? And so what you'll see here is, here's the content, but I can add another bonus video and another bonus video after that. And it's just more of the same. And if that wasn't enough, right, then this gives you the ability to add additional, whether you want to put this video in a pop-up or you want to put a different kind of download in here, this ability to click on more content through this multimedia and add a link to it is also powerful. So there's a lot you can do. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is, in the midst of all this, there is no quiz, right? That is coming. And for some people, that ability to ask questions and get people to answer is the core of what makes this different than, say, just a bunch of pages. Now, you could do this with pages, right? You could go in and put video on pages, and you could do that. You're not going to get the same hierarchy and process, right? So that's a challenge. You're not going to get the same shortcodes that let you see your progress. So that's a bit of an issue. So this actually, the LMS features actually deliver pretty much everything you need, minus the testing, the questionnaires and certificates, that kind of tail end stuff. They're working on it, so it's coming. But for what I was building and what I wanted to do, obviously Rainmaker could do it all.